Oh, you actually decided to go live, did you? Thank you. Nearly done. Right now, I've got to find the colour. What was it? Grape purple, was it? What number are you? 148. Oh, I found it straight away, look. There you go. 148. Julio. Let's get it on. Let's get going. Zoom in a little bit. Did that happen? This is not the most attractive colour, I'll say that. Sorry, I'm sure nobody wants to hear me supping on a beverage, but it's overflowing a bit. Lovely. Excuse me. Since it's quiet, I'm just going. excuse me. Oh, excuse me. You had a good week? I've been let's wait for that to defrost. I've been working on a new picture. It is on. I have been live streaming it on TikTok, which I know is a pain in the ass for you. Is it a big one? It is. So that's taken me. Yeah. Yeah, it's about 9 ounce. And the idea behind this one is I'm going to cover the whole page and then detail it. It'll take between 15 and 20 hours total, but that's what I've been working on. Oops, wrong side. from Tuesday to Thursday, that's what I've been doing in between. Completely lost my trail of thought. In between the live streams, Jesus, what is wrong with my brain? Absolute brain fartage. And I just forgot what I was going to do then as well. The number. What is wrong with me? Wrong with me? 140. It is 148, isn't it? Yeah. But tell me about your week, if it's been a good one. If there's anything to tell, that is, if you've had a good one. It says on the side of the pen, Jamie. 148. There you go. I always forget how I do that. I'm pretty sure I do it this one. Just check. Nothing has changed, it's the same pace as usual. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, it's been pretty... Like the cold weather's been a bit harsh here, although I will say this. We're saying Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to Samantha. And I says, oh, it's got really cold here, it's been freezing. And she came back with, oh yeah, no, it's been like minus 37 where I am, minus 48 in the wind. And I just says, well, I'm going to shut my fucking mouth then, because it had been minus 1 here. So I'll take my humble pie. Nothing that a quick don of a snuddy won't sort out, but yeah. Ridiculous temperatures where she is. I thought I feel a bit of a dickhead. Yeah, but anything in the minuses is still, you know, can still get uncomfortable. But yeah, I just thought minus 48 in the wind is fucking crazy. How's it going, Coop? Good to see you. Had a good week? Everyone's jumping in now. Saying to Annie that I've been excuse me, never good when you catch the business end of a cold and flu and all that. I had a shitty night's sleep last night. Nothing wrong or anything, but it's just, you know, you have those odd nights where you just sat there awake, like you're just restless, you can't sleep. But I don't feel like too, but like normally I'd feel like absolutely exhausted, but I feel alright today. I don't feel... Is a little different. Have I been pronouncing your name wrong the entire time? I've just been saying it as I'm reading it. Annie, is it not that? Well, Annie is a girl's name, isn't it? Is it Arnie? I'm not the best at pronouncing things. going to zoom in a bit. There you go. I also heard a woman moaning and crying like 3 a.m. yesterday. Ooch. Right, Dead Hand, how's it going, man? Good to see you, my friend. This isn't the prettiest colour, I'm not going to lie. Uni. You should have said something before. Me pronouncing your name wrong all this time. But Uni. Because it'd feel weird if you switch suddenly. No, it's fine. Like if I mispronounce somebody's name, that's probably a very British thing to do, but possibly American as well, although I can't speak for Americans, where you just read something as it is, and it's like, well, that's the way. It's like me and my mates always used to call Thierry Henry, just Terry Henry, innit? It's like, no, it's Thierry Henry. I'm going to have to fill that in because that's wonky. I wait for some time to tell people how my name is pronounced, since it feels rude otherwise. I don't think it'd be rude. It's just if they say it, just say, oh, it's pronounced Uni. I remember I was at school once, and it seems to be lazy because it's one less syllable. Like a teacher couldn't be asked to pronounce my name correctly, so it was like... But in your case there, I was saying your name completely incorrectly. So I think you had every right to say, you don't say it like this. And you weren't rude about it, you corrected me. It's not a problem. But I guess some people might get a bit, like if they feel silly, like they might get a bit defensive about it, like, oh, well, actually, well, why isn't it? You know, people get very touchy about being... Oh, are yous? Oh, no. Why? I can only apologise, guys. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's doing this, because, I mean, Dead Hand, you can confirm, like on the TikTok streams, they've been pretty much bang on. haven't they? Doesn't like Fridays. Yeah, I don't know. Let me just do a quick internet test to see what. Internet. Yeah, look, there you go. And that's slow. Like 9, that's my internet connection right now, and that's slow. Like it's normally above 100. Well, that's not slow. It's still good, but so I don't know. Yeah, TikTok's been fine. I don't know. Then I'm at a loss. I wish I could make your experience better, chaps, but I just don't know. I don't know what to do. I can't do it. I can't do it. Punch the interwebs in the face. Oh, I wish I could. But yeah, it might just be YouTube and Streamlabs not playing nice. Excuse me. I'm running out of vitamins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I don't know if you'll have seen it, Coob. I don't know if you've been on the TikTok streams. I've been working on a brand new picture. A brand new picture. It's been going well. Got a good new amount of subscribers. Been getting rewards, which has been nice. Someone's been sending me hearts and roses, and I even got a donut. That was nice. Ah, okay. So yeah, you would have seen it. But yeah, it's going well. Like that's what you. Like the last couple of ones have been a bit samey. Oh no, I suppose the last one I did was actually good. I like that one. The ones before that were a little bit samey. You're working hard, you deserve all the attention. Oh, thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, yeah, TikTok. It's because my printer / scanner's a bit knackered. I can't. What the fuck is that? What's this? I've just got a message from the power grid. What? On the 21st and 22nd January. Right, that's not today. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Uni. Yeah. Yeah. TikTok, because I was getting what was I saying? Yeah, my printer scanner's not working properly, so I can't print any of the sketchbook stuff I want doing. So I thought, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work solely on the original pieces. I'm going to just sell one sort of as is, put the word out like anyone who wants to buy it, just get in touch. And then the money I make from one of the original pieces I'm going to use to buy a brand new scanner / printer. And then I can print everything off, and I'll have a couple of originals as well. That I can then put up on the website / online store. Are you entering Tron? Yeah, that's what it's going to take to make sure this fucking thing doesn't stop jittering about. No, apparently there's a storm passing through, so it's going to be like, wow, just be careful and all that kind of stuff, you know. On the 21st, 22nd, apparently. So it's like expect some power outs and all that kind of stuff. Oh, the good news I was going to tell. Basically, I got some money from a long ongoing dispute. Not a huge amount, but enough for a new camera. And so, mate, that's superb news. Love it. Lego for, I mean, that is the important question. Let's be real here. Rivendell. That's awesome news, Dan. I love that. But that is the important question, is what Lego did you get? Rivendell. Is that Lord of the Rings? Rivendell. I'm going to sound like a right tit if I don't get that right. I'll Google it. Yeah, it is. It is, isn't it? Yeah. On Google, sort your shit out. Which part is it? Rivendell. Is it the... I'm not going to look before you tell me. Rivendell. Is it the... It's when he wakes up, isn't it? In the middle of the first film. Where they get attacked by... They're on horseback and... is it Arwen? Kind of grabs him and she takes him to Rivendell. It's there, isn't it? Where the Am I wrong? Where they have the meeting. That's Rivendell, isn't it? The only reason that's kind of sprung to mind is because I watched The Martian yesterday, and they make reference to is it Elrond, Project Elrond, and that kind of came up into my head. Anyway, never mind that. I need to draw more, don't I? That's what this stream's for. The Martian is a great film, by the way. Isn't it River now 500? Damn. Is it a big chunk of cheese, is it? Yeah, I do. I've not watched Lord of the Rings in years. Lord of the Rings is one of those things, I think we've talked about this before, but I really enjoyed the first three films, like Fellowship, Two Towers, I nearly said Twin Towers there, Two Towers and Return of the King. I thought they were great. But I think when I watched them, or after I'd finished watching them, I was like, yeah, that's enough for me. Like, I don't think I'm massively fussed about reading the books. I might do one day. I'm not bothered about the Hobbit films at all. I think I was interested when I heard Martin Freeman was going to play it because he looked great. But then when I started seeing trailers and things like that, I'm just like, I'm not sure I'm that arsed. It's the same with the Harry Potter series, like the Fantastic Beasts stuff. Like, I just don't give a shit. And I don't think I give a monkeys about reading the books either. Not that I think they'll be bad, I just don't care. To afford it any other way. If I had money and room, I would get the upcoming Lego Dune. Oh, yeah. I didn't know they were doing a Dune one. I bet that'd be amazing. Great shout, that. I really enjoyed Dune. I thought it was really good. It felt like a filler film, or it felt like an intro film in the sense that, like, it's just telling you who all the characters are and blah blah blah. And normally they fall a little bit flat, those kind of films. It's a little bit like, I remember, is it Order of the Phoenix, the Harry Potter one? Thinking, oh, I enjoyed that, but it just felt like filler to the next bit. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes those kind of films fall a little bit flat, they're just a bit meh. But I thought Dune Part 1 was excellent. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, Legos have been ridiculously expensive for years now. They are absolute fortunes, like hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Like, is it the Death Star? I'm not sure if there's any above £1,000 yet. I've seen, but I remember the Death Star being really expensive. Like, I want to say about £700 or something. Warhammer's ridiculous. I remember when I was 15, so I remember I started getting into Warhammer when I was 15. And when I lived back in Scotland, me and a friend went to Edinburgh. And the Warhammer 40k like starter pack, so this would have been in 2000. I think even then it was about 60 quid, maybe 80, where you got like your starter paints. Did you get 6 Space Marines or 4? 6 or 4? I think you got a bike as well. But all of that was meant. It's way more expensive now. Like, I've got I still haven't started them. I still haven't finished reading it, but I've got 3 Warhammer 40k books that I need to read. I've started the first one, but I need to finish it. But yeah, Warhammer's a fucking joke. I don't think I'd ever play Warhammer, but I'd love to sort of create stuff for it. And I love the lore of the universe of Warhammer. I think it's really interesting because I like, I'm really into kind of dark, sort of dystopian worlds. I just find them, I don't know why, maybe I've got some sort of morbid fascination with dystopias and stuff. Like, I'm really into, again, I don't know why, brutalism architecture. And I wouldn't mind doing like a painting series on sort of brutalism. But I don't know why, I just find that kind of style of architecture and stuff, like I just find it interesting. Like it just seems to fit perfectly. Like a good... Like a film that I kind of depicted it really well, I remember being Equilibrium. Me and my dad used to play it, was fun, but I wouldn't play it now. Yeah, I think... I don't think it's... I mean, it's not as long as D&D, is it? But I still feel like it's quite long. Like, campaigns are really long. But no, I do love the... I think there was a channel I remember I brought up before. Was it Lupin, he's called? And he does like deep dives into Warhammer lore and the world. He did one of them. The first video of his I found was on the city of... Mega City from Dread, because I flipping love Dread. I do like that universe. But it's been so long since I've read any sort of graphic novels or comics around it. It's just time. Which is a shit excuse, because I could make time easily. Mid-90s, yeah. I think it was late 90s, 2000s. I was 15, I got into it. But just the cost of it was ridiculous. Like, I got like a couple of little bits. I did get the bike, but I had since lost it, which is annoying. But I would, like, as a hobby... What the fuck? I would like to get into painting the characters and all that kind of stuff. There's quite a few TikTok channels I follow where they paint the characters. And they look really good. Like someone did like a pink one. And it looked really good. Excuse me. Ow. Yeah, hobbies, everything just seems to be incredibly expensive these days. Have you heard the news as well that Game in the UK are going to stop taking trade-ins? I'm like, be interesting to see how long that lasts. It wouldn't surprise me if they say, oh, we're not doing as well, like in a few months or something, or a year. Back. The cream egg. Yeah, everything's just expensive. Ah, okay. Getting your Star Trek on. Here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. Anniversary soon, so they're giving free stuff. As they should, to their loyal fans. That's what you want. Not doing the one thing you built your company on is such a stupid move. Yeah. It's just stupid. It's like they fundamentally misunderstand. It'll be someone at the top who just doesn't understand the kind of culture of gaming and gamers. Like, video games are expensive, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be. Like I grew up in the era of SNES and N64 and PS2 games, and brand new games were always between £40 and £60. Like, cartridges were always more expensive because the physical format of making them on a cartridge is more expensive. So it's like, yeah, fair enough. And they have gotten cheaper a bit. Like, you can, especially on Steam and with sort of more independent games, you know, you can get brand new games for, you know, as little as £20, which is still good. Like, but with the amount of games that are coming out and like obviously the cost of living and stuff, it just doesn't make sense to fuck over your customers like that. I remember a few years ago when I think it was Total Biscuit, may he rest in peace, was talking about why like trading games is bad. What was his argument exactly? This was a good few years ago. I fundamentally disagreed with him, where he said, did he say it was immoral or why it's the equivalent of when you buy a second-hand game, it's the equivalent of piracy, or it was along those lines. And it's like, no, it isn't. It's like, no, it is not. Because the person who's made that game hasn't lost anything. Because the argument fundamentally there would be, well, if you buy a game and you've got everything you can get out of that game, and then you decide, do you know what? I don't want this anymore. What are you supposed to do then? Just throw it in the bin? Or let someone else play that game? You know, it was just a rubbish argument, I thought. Do you know what I mean? What you do with that game once you've purchased it and once you own it is what is up to you entirely. Like, the company who made it has already received money for that item. So what difference does it make if you trade it for another game or use it to wipe your ass with? Like, it was just such a silly argument. It's like, it's not the equivalent of theft or downloading or anything like that. It was a nonsense argument. Like, if anything, it helps the developer because somebody new may have become aware of you as a company and seek out other games that you make, and they might start buying your product. It's a form of advertising for your company. Who's messaging me? Oh. I always get messaged and shizzle. Sorry. Sorry, right. Keep getting messages. I wholeheartedly agree with you on this one, yeah. Warhammer, what's up with that? Sorry, Ernie, I missed that. Yeah, Warhammer is... I haven't even bothered to check how expensive Warhammer is. It'll be in the hundreds of pounds, surely. But yeah, it just makes no sense. Lost my trail of thought again because I can't think and draw at the same time. The trade-ins. Like, what are they set to gain? Like, do they honestly think more people are going to come in and buy brand new games? It's like, nah, mate. Like, shafting your customer base is going to hurt you. Someone suggested that because they own the name of Game Station. That's who I used to work for. And they shut down after I left. I'm not saying I'm the reason, but, you know. Pretty big coincidence. No, I'm joking. But that chain of shops actually fundamentally understood. It was one of the most liked and popular gaming stores in the UK because they understood, you know, they had a passion for video games. And then the sort of game brand bought them up and just, you know, turned it into corporate crap. And it's like, again, it's just fundamentally misunderstanding your audience. But that's what greedy people do. They just don't get it. Excuse me, that was rude. Sorry, did they mess up? When you say, did they mess up, Ernie, do you mean game? Because if you're referring to them, then yes, they... Wow. It's a decision that they've only just kind of decided to go through with, so time will tell if they mess up, but I just can't see how that's going to benefit their store. I really cannot see it. I'll be amazed if they... Like, if they get any success off the back of it. Like, if their shop improves off the back of it. Because all they care about, again, this is just an assumption. But if you're motivated by money, then you're just going to try and milk something without really understanding it, and it will fail. And, you know, because you've already got all the cash, it's like you're not going to care if it fails. But it just seems like a stupid corporate decision. Like, who is it? Is it Ubisoft? Have done it as well, where they say get used to not owning anything. And it's like, again, people, but you're going to fail. Like, you're just going to fail. Like, I just don't know who. I don't know who's making the decisions, thinking, "Oh yeah, you're not going to own the games that you buy." So, well, then why am I going to use your service then? And all that's going to come off the back of it, it would take time, but the only thing that's going to come off the back of it is hang on, I'm just looking at this. Is other companies, sorry, I was trying to decide what to do with this. Yeah. Like there'll just be other companies or other sort of indie developers will say, yeah, if you want physical copies of our games, here you go. And we won't like overcharge you for it. You can have it, it's yours. Like if you buy it, then it's yours. Like it just seems really, really stupid and short-sighted. But again, I just don't think they're motivated by wanting to do the right thing or being on the side of the customer. They never are. It's just greedy, feckless idiots. Time to play some Rocket League again. Take no worries, man. You go and kick some ass on Rocket League. Thank you for popping in as always, Cuba. Always appreciate it. Hope you feel better as well. Hopefully some Rocket League wins will sort that out. But you've seen it all over the gaff. Like, it was at Unity who tried to do this ridiculous thing where, again, I don't know if it was a genuine attempt at anti-piracy where, got up the rest of the stream, seemed like, yeah, hopefully, Coop. Was it Unity where they tried to, what was it? In an attempt to, I'm thinking about this from memory. Or what was it? It was you had to pay. You had to pay. So if you created a game on Unity, you had to pay a fee every time somebody installed the game that you made with Unity. So if you sold, say, 10 copies for 10 quid, you'd get obviously the £100 profit, but you'd also be paying £10 for every install of that game. And it took like everybody immediately to point out, how does that work if somebody pirates your game? Do you have countermeasures against that? And it was a blatant attempt to just rinse more money from the consumer base, and they lost so much credibility after that. So many people left Unity. Like, again, and it was the person who did it. He was the former CEO of EA, I think, and he'd had like form in stuff like this where he just tries to milk money from the consumer base, the customers. And it's like, why do you keep hiring these dickheads? Like, it just blows my mind. Why do you keep hiring them? Like, how do they keep getting work? These absolute bellends. I like the triangular theme. Thank you, Cube. Yeah, I've done a drawing like this before and I really liked it. And I remembered it. So I thought, do you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for this one. See where we end up. EA used to be all strict before. It's kind of calm now. Unity is now doing a thing where if you use a real life item in game, you can order it from the game and it will be delivered to your doorstep for a fee. Hang on, let me read that again. They're doing a thing where if you use a real life item in the game, you can order it from the game and it will be delivered to your doorstep. Fucking hell. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that when you read it, it's like, oh, that sounds like cool. And it's like, no, there's definitely sinister intentions behind that. I could be wrong, but it sounds that way. Probably because that same CEO. Yeah, it's like Nintendo are an example, right? Where Nintendo are meant to be this family-friendly, fun games company. Mario, woohoo! But again, some of the things that they do, I'm like, you don't appear to actually like your fan base with some of the stuff that you've pulled. Like the store that they have. So the SNES and N64 store, great idea. Love it. But the way they trickle in games for it and the fee that they charge for it, it's like, it just seems really frustrating. And as well, on top of that, when people try and make, what do you call it, like remasters of their game, like you've seen it so many times, like Ocarina or Mario 64 on the Unreal Engine or something. And then, you know, Nintendo cease and desist, which, yeah, but legally, sure, that's, you know, you can't do that. But I just think, Nintendo, why don't you see the opportunity here? Why don't you hire these people to make a remaster of your games that people love so much? Again, just a little gesture like that, I think, could go a long way, and people would start liking you again. But compared to these companies, yeah, I know what you mean, Uni. Like, I haven't heard as much sort of from EA. Like I'm saying, like that thing that Ubisoft are doing, that's flipping ridiculous what they're doing. Like, you won't ever own a physical copy of our game again. It's like, yeah, good luck with that. See how far you get with that little idea. Not far would be my guess. Like, everything's a service, like a subscription, or I fucking hate that. It's like, no, if I want a game, I'll buy a game, thanks. Don't need you to tell me what I can and cannot buy. Yeah, it just seems really scummy. Sega is the opposite of Nintendo there. I'm not, I've seen it, but yeah, it's a great thing when you see game companies do that. I think, was it PlayStation or Xbox did something where it might have been both, even, where there was a disabled player who had like a condition where he couldn't hold the joypad as it was intended because of the way his hands were. So like he had to cut, like the way his fingers went under the pad, like it didn't line up. Like, it was just one of those things. So I'm sure it was PlayStation who did it. They added a button specifically at a particular location on the underside of the pad so he could play it, you know, so he was more comfortable playing the game with the pad. And it's things like that. It's like, see, you are capable of catering to your fan base and your customer base, like, and doing good things, but part of me can't help but think, yes, that's an amazing thing, and, you know, kudos to you for doing it, like this sentiment and everything, but it's like, for every good thing you do, it's like you do a shitty greedy ultra corp thing, and you care more about PR. But like you say, Uni, it's levels, isn't it? Like, you know, some companies just kind of do it more than others, or they'll make really shitty decisions. But it's this whole thing of they'll do it little, but they'll do like a little change where you're not happy about it, but you don't notice it enough, or it's not upsetting enough that you kick off about it. And they're always testing the water. So, oh, If, how's it going, man? Good to see you. You had a good day? They also have a huge fan base dedicated to testing the game. Yeah, like, again, they are capable of doing it. And they do show that they actually do it and at times care about their customer, but it's just sometimes they'll make decisions that are so motivated by greed. It's like, why'd you do it? Like, what are you hoping to gain from that? Well, obviously it's a stupid question. Money. It's like, just don't be such greedy bellends. Just make quality stuff, put your customer first, and you'll make all the money that you need. Like, I've become a little bit obsessed recently with, I was telling you about Reddit stories before, about like horrible bosses and managers and just these clueless people who, it's like, if you just treat your staff properly, they'll want to work for you and you will get the desired results. But when they stupid things like messaging them like at 12 o'clock at night, oh, this thing's come up and I need you to be in and I need you to do all this extra work, and they're like, well, no, I'll see you in the morning. Oh, be a team player. And it's like, knock off. Be a team player. I call it the call centre mentality. Like, I used to work in a call centre, and there were things there that I just thought, this makes no sense what you're doing. This is so stupid. Well, yeah, they need all the money, to hoard it like a fucking dragon, so they can dive into it like Scrooge McDuck. Which some of them ought to do, and find out that metal coins don't move around like liquid. It just reminded me of that Family Guy sketch where Peter Griffin does it. That's not at all what I thought would happen. Can I go there? But yeah, just again, greed. It can just messes up so many shit like that. It just messes with it. Just turns people into idiots. It can be really disappointing. I've just realised that's awful what I've just done there, but fine. Cartoons lie. If what's happening, we are discussing the frustration of corporate greed, specifically in gaming, where for like every good decision a company makes that you think, oh, that's really beneficial to the customer, blah, 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 they seem to make a really stupid one motivated by greed, and then can't really understand why people are upset by it. It's like, gee, I wonder why. Yeah, just annoying decisions that CEOs seem to make who don't really have a clue about the company they seem to be in charge of. So they end up making ridiculous decisions. And then they try and bullshit their way out of it by saying, oh, actually, it was because of this and because of that. We thought the experience of the fans, and blah, blah. It's like, no, you didn't. You knew exactly what you were doing. The consequence of industrial revolution. Of our grumpy old men. How did the other drawing go? It's going well. I'll show you. That's the progress I've made so far. About 9 hours in, 9.5 hours in, around about there. I'll probably have the whole page covered after around about 15 hours, maybe. So I think I'm on course for about 20 hours. I think that's probably the timeline I'm looking at, I think. But no, it's going well. It is. It's coming along nice, and it's been very fun drawing it. Actually, I've really enjoyed it. I've actually had a lot of fun drawing this one too. I really liked it. But yeah, I'll be carrying on with that other drawing next week. Not sure I'll have it done by next... Oh, maybe. No, I don't know, maybe. If I can kind of carve out another hour here and there. Like, I might chuck another couple of hours at the weekend. Like, either tomorrow or Sunday. I might put another hour, a couple of hours. So, yeah, if I can get a good... What the fuck? Oh, what's happened here? A water droplet of some kind. That's annoying. Anywhere else it would have been fine, but I had to land on that 8. But can't do anything about it now. Brie Larson. You were asking for that one, Gray. Like to spread her on a cracker? Meh, 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 meh. Excuse me. Must be Nigel with the brie. What battery have I got left? 46. I would have liked to have done a bit more on this one, but it's okay. This stream's all about having a good laugh, a bit of fun. It doesn't need to be super serious all the time, and this drawing needs to be perfect and this drawing needs to be... Nah, it's just... I'll get done what I get done. Stream's always lively. Yeah, it's been good today. It's been a really nice stream. Really good fun. And I've enjoyed the drawing too. Yeah, I've just thought of. I'll show you the drawing. There's one I did in my sketchbook. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to do a sketchbook drawing. I don't know. Yeah, I could probably do both. I can probably get a couple of hours in tomorrow and then do one of these. What was the one I'm on about? It was that one. Like, that's one of my favourite sketchbook drawings. I think there was another one as well that I did. Not quite that one. But yeah, it was that one that I thought of. Oh, I'm so annoyed about that 8. I can't believe that water droplet landed right fucking there. That's not so bad, it'll be fine. My missus is making chocolate concrete later and I cannot fucking wait. Don't know why, but I feel like the triangles be looking all sinister. The colour maybe, yeah, it's not a great colour. It's called, what was it called? Grape purple, yeah. Like it's a bit dirty, innit? A bit grimy. Which I think could be good, like in certain drawings, but it's not a particularly pretty colour, which again can work in certain circumstances, but maybe not the best for this kind of drawing, but it's all good. It's all good. Number you up to now? This will be number 28. So 90 to go. Well, 91 to go. Long way. One of the problems here that I didn't really think about when starting this project is, like, I really want to recreate some of the sketchbook drawings that I've got. So, like, one of my favourite ones is, I'll show you now. I've shown it before. It's the blue one, basically. You'll know which one I mean because I've shown it enough. Yeah, so that's one of my favourite ones. Like, I love the look of it and the line work and stuff, and I really want to do that on, like, as an original piece. But the problem is the amount of ink it's going to use up. I don't want to risk doing it and then not have enough to do this, if you know what I mean. But I do have other pens, like I've got some Statler ones, I've got my Stabilo ones as well, that I can just, like, if need be, I can rebuy them and then it won't be too expensive. But that's one of the things, like with companies that kind of sell you mass, like big, kind of like bundles of pens. Like they don't seem to ever give you the option to buy like individual colours, which could be really helpful. And I mean, they tend to be a lot more expensive, like was it Copic back in the day? I don't know how much they are now, but individually they used to be like £5 a pen. Like I don't know how much they would be now, but the blue just pops out. Yeah, I think the background I did on that one helps. It was I think it's coral. It's called like a neon. It's like halfway between neon orange and neon pink. It's like a neon coral colour. It's this one. Yeah, that one. The lines I did in the background, I think they made it work really well. So I'd like to do like a bigger version of that. But again, it's just the risk of the ink running out before I get to this. And I've said before, like I wouldn't mind doing like maybe an extra one of these a week, just to try and get through them, but it's just where to fit it. I think maybe when I get my website up and I start selling some prints like a bit more frequently, then maybe I can free up a bit of time where I can focus more on those kind of ones. It's just a bit difficult at the minute, that's all. Well, the good thing about these is that they never have to fully cover the screen or anything, but I always want to make sure I do enough so it looks at least like a finished bit. So I'm going to I want it to get from left to right far enough, and then I'll expand it up and down. Would I be worth picking up a 24 pack of pens? I'd say so. When I bought those ones, so this is the... So when I bought these are the pens that I use, so these ones. And like I've said before that I bought them not because I've got any sense of brand loyalty. It was just, they were a decent price, there was loads of them, and they were the kind of nib that I like to use. So I thought I'll just grab them. I think they were £35 when I bought them. And I bought them as a Christmas present, as a birthday present to myself. A pack of, what did you say, 12 was it? 24. A pack of 24 would be... What are they, fine line? Yeah. I mean, you can get 100, I don't know what brand that is. 48 or £22. The 120 are £53 now. The 24 are £15. I personally think they're worth it. It depends on what you want to draw. If you use it solely as line work, then yeah. But to colour big areas, you can do that. But you see the line streaks too much because they're not really made for that. But ARTEZA seem to have, like, I've looked up their website and what they offer on sort of artist side. There's a lot of things that they do offer. So I think they've got like a series of brush pens. They do paints. They do sketch pads. They do all sorts of stuff. They'll just keep going. Yeah, probably. I think I did get mine in a sale, in a summer sale, because my birthday's in the summer. But I personally think they are worth it. I think the quality of them is good. Like, of all the pens that I've used, the only mark against them is in the set that I've got. There's a pink that I've shown you before where it doesn't even really show up on the paper. There's a pink pen that they've got. I can't remember the name. It's like a candy floss pink, and it just doesn't really register on paper at all. So I don't know how I'm going to navigate that. Like, I might do a very quick drawing with that one, just to say that I've done one. And then sort of do a second in the same day. Because the two sort of pinks are very, very faint. One of them is, like I say, barely you can barely read it. But I think they're pretty decent value. Like, just to sort of test them out, I think, was it £15 for a 24? I think that's a decent price, personally. Because if it gets to the whole sort of process, like if you buy them and you think they're shit, like, it's not the most amount of money. They're not extortionate. Me out some. Yeah, they're good. You'll have to let me know what you think, because you might have a completely different opinion to me. Like, you might use them and think that they're not for you. Like, that's happened to me before, where I've bought some pens that everyone was using. And not that I thought they were bad, but they weren't for me. They're the the Micron pens. Like, everyone was using them, but I don't. The nib is too sunk into the sort of metal, sort of what do you call it, like the clamp that holds it in. It's too sunken in for me. Like, I don't like the feel of that. But they are very good quality pens. Like, the inks are good quality, but like I say, it's just the feel of it wasn't to my taste. I think they were Micron. Yeah, I'm sure they were. When you get a pack of 24, then you wouldn't have to worry about waiting for the blue ones to come. You would... It would depend if they came... if the blue ones that I needed came in that pack. So where are we? 24 is the lowest they do, I think. Like, I'd need to know exactly what colours... And I mean, it doesn't look like first off the bat they would come in. Like, I'd need ARTEZA website, and there may be an option to order it. Order the specific pens that you want. Like, if I email them and say, look, there's a certain colour of yours that I need. Is there an option to buy individual pens? I don't see why they wouldn't. You know what I mean? But again, you just never know, do you? It was missing. Yeah, not sure that'll work after what, having it for what? Must be about 3 or 4 years now. Not sure they'll buy it. Maybe it was a present from a long lost. Yeah, please. My uncle got me these. I've not even looked at this through the thing yet. Looks a little bare, but we're at the 2 hour mark. Just coming up for the 2 hour mark. Yeah, we're good. I'll breathe for a minute. Did you mention, am I right in thinking, did you mention a GoPro, or am I just misremembering that completely? Or is it you have a GoPro or had a GoPro? I can't remember. Already had that one. It wasn't. Didn't really work for you. Can't seem to remember. I had a GoPro, but this one is a Sony ZV-E10. That sounds like a heavy bit of kit. Apparently Sony are like really good for cameras. They're such a weird one, Sony. Like, back in the day, their whole thing was like obviously cassette, Discman, CD, like music. Like, I always used to get Sony music stuff like MP3 players when they were still kind of big back in the day. The best stuff. It was expensive, but they did make the best stuff. And like TVs, they used to be like one of the best. But then they sort of discontinued their Walkman. But did they bring it back? Like, I had a Sony laptop, a Sony Vaio. I thought they were really good. Like, I had one at uni and they just didn't they didn't ever conk out or go wrong or anything. But they discontinued the brand. And I just thought that was really odd, because I thought they're really good though. Like, why would you discontinue that? But if they're not selling them, like if obviously Macs come on the scene and like Samsung are kicking ass. But I have heard Sony, like, cameras isn't something I would normally associate Sony with. Like, it would be Nikon and Canon and what's the other one? Is it Fujifilm? Kodak, although I don't know how. Like, do Kodak actually do? Are they just like your, what would you say? Like the disposable cameras and all that kind of stuff. I know, like Samsung are like the main ones for like the Samsung Galaxy Ultras. But again, I've had a Sony phone before because I really like Sony's products. I think they are very, very good. But the last Sony phone I had, it was kind of a mid-range phone because that's all I could afford. So in the mid-range, they don't tend to be the best. Samsung tend to be the best, and now Google tend to be the best in that kind of really strong mid-range, where it's not quite the heavy hitter stuff. But the sort of affordable, sort of quality item stuff. What do I want to do here? Go here. But yeah, the sort of more expensive stuff, I know Sony kind of go under the radar a little bit. But I have heard they've got very, very good kit. Like, because they, when I looked up getting a new phone, because I had to make it, you know, heavily oriented around my sort of camera, because that's what I'm going to be using it for mostly. Sony was like constantly top of the list, but again, similar to like the Samsung Galaxy Ultras, like it's just, that was too far out of my price range. So I had to kind of go the next level down, and that's where kind of Google Pixel picked up. Like, I had a Samsung Galaxy S10 Lite, which was brilliant, but like I don't think they tend to do that kind of mid-range anymore. Or even inside. I might look into it after my contract. Reading up, like when I was doing my, I wonder if this is subconsciously putting me time-lapse video. So when I just sort of record my time-lapse videos for my sketches, you can't. When you can record it continuously for an hour, but it's into sort of 20-minute segments. Why is it doing this? It's because there's like rules around journalism, if I remember rightly, where you can record footage from a phone, like under a certain law or certain regulation or whatever. It has to be registered as a camera. So I'm like, oh, okay. So it had because you can only capture so much. I can't remember the rules exactly. It was, but I just remember thinking, for God's sake, like all I want to do is just record a fucking video. But because of some wanky rules elsewhere, it's going to make my life inconvenience. Because that's all I give a shit about, if my own life's inconvenienced in some way. Oh, are they? I did not know that. Yeah, I do remember, like I say, the Samsung Galaxy Lite, the S10 Lite that I had before this phone, I really liked it. I mean, it wasn't a 4K phone, because obviously at the time that I got it, it wasn't like strictly like 4K phones weren't quite the norm yet. But just as an all-rounder, it worked really, really well. And I still use it for pretty much as an MP3 player. That was a markdown for the Google Pixel for me, is that there's no mini SD slot to put all my music in, which was a bit annoying. But are always below the competitor in specific, yeah. Like no one beats their screens. Demo even for iPhones. I mean, do you know what? It doesn't surprise me that, you know, like companies take the best bits from other phones and other companies and all that kind of stuff. I don't think I'd ever have an iPhone. Like, I'm not anti-Apple or anything like that, but my missus had an iPhone. She had one for years and years and years and years. But they just made it more and more pointlessly complicated, just to even the simplest of things, like when I had to take photos from her phone onto my computer to store them away. Like the hoops they made you jump through for that. I'm thinking, all I want to do is just drag and drop some photos. And it just became, I think there was other things as well, that it just became too much of a pain in the arse. It's like, no, I'll get a different phone. And then she got a Huawei, which was a great phone, but then there was all that kind of controversy around sort of spying stuff, whatever it was. And I said she should get the phone that I had, so that Samsung Galaxy Lite. This was a few years ago. And I said, they stopped making it, so I said, what's the closest phone you got to that? And they gave her like a Samsung Galaxy A something, and it is shocking. It is such a shit phone. So I said, right, if you're only bothered about like taking pictures, I said, get the one that I've got, because obviously you'd want to get like a Galaxy Ultra or a Sony, but they're 50 quid a month or whatever they are, so it's like, right, we obviously can't afford that. Does it really? Processors and sensors. Samsung is trying to make themselves safer without needing to depend on other companies and stuff, but they will take a few. Yeah, like if you're trying to do everything in-house. In 2020 was yeah. It it makes it like price wise if they're cheaper. Like it did, like that's probably why the Samsung I got was cheaper at the time. What battery am I on, by the way? I've not even checked. 20. Interesting. So I've got no internet connection. Interesting. Snapdragon, the better processor makers. The phones are usually more expensive, but then again, they don't throttle. Yeah, like I'm not massively clued up on the tech of smartphones. Like there's just bits and pieces of information I might pick up. Like I'm not usually able to. Oh, there's 20%. I'm not usually able to live stream because it just gets too hot. So I have to think of other ways. Which is frustrating because it's like, you know, even in the summer, I thought maybe you can handle. You still should probably be able to handle, you know, a bit of heat even whilst I'm live streaming, but no, weren't having it. Oh, dickhead. I went too far down. It's okay, I can recover it. There you go. Well recovered, lol. Decreases the performance to cool down the system. That makes sense. Yeah, like if Google's is, you know, whapping it out constantly, then it makes more sense. I'm nearly done with this one, I think. MediaTek, they have better processors. They're cheaper too. Are they the ones like that you find in most smartphones now? I'm assuming they would be if they're cheaper and better. Oh, excuse me, moi, s'il vous plaît. I think what I'm going to do, because what am I on, 15%, is it? 17, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a couple of bits in the background. A couple of shapes. Not the best lines, if I'm honest, but... Problem is I can feel my eyes going wonky as well, that's why some of the lines are a bit off. So if you make... I think, so I'll look into that afterwards. The stream is really strong. Wow, yeah. I don't know why, like... Again, it just seems like something I've got no control over there, but that is another one done. I'm going to leave, like, my eyes are starting to go a bit wonky. The one didn't, like, massively fill out the page, but again, I enjoy doing it. Like, just something a bit different, like, just not chunky sort of shapes everywhere. Like a bit more of a, I don't know, a bit more of a focused drawing, I guess, would be the way to describe it. But I am going to wrap that up there because my battery's dying. It's 8 o'clock. I've been... Your and our internet is pretty good. It's another great... Thank you so much. Yeah, again, sorry about the stream. I don't know. Just, it's one of those, isn't it? But... yeah, like I've done a couple of triangle ones before. I thought I'd just give this a go. Always good chatting to you fellas. I hope you have a good weekend. Coob, thank you for popping in. If, thank you for popping in. Uni, thank you for popping in. Dead Hand, always good to see you. And anyone else who decided to jump in. Oh man. But yeah, we've been on 2 hours 25. Yeah, I don't think there's much more I can do to this. In the time that I've got left, like with 13% battery, yeah. But it's come out quite nice. The main thing I wanted to do was just get it from left to right and then have a bit over here, bit over there, and then a bit of a background. But yeah, it's pretty good. It wasn't the most attractive colour, but we got there in the end. But have a good weekend, guys. Thank you again. I'll be back Monday as usual. Might be on TikTok at the weekend. But until then, have a good weekend and I'll see you